Some stakeholders are unhappy about your team's priority in the current iteration. What is the best thing to do in such a situation? Okay, propose a replanning of the current iteration. Option B, explain the prioritization process and ask for feedback. Option C, assure stakeholders to include their priorities in the next iteration. Ask the stakeholders to raise a change request. Okay, pick your choice. I pause. Okay, so if I look at this particular question, the way I read the situation, or the way I wanted to communicate the situation was that you are running in a current iteration and few individual comes and say and tells you, whatever you guys have picked up for this iteration seems to be not the right thing. You should be working on something else. And it's not very unusual because in a project, there are many stakeholders and you need to take the best possible priority, which is coming out of your backlog refinement process. And the team gets started based on that. And you may have a person who is facilitating and coordinating the whole prioritization process, sometimes called product owner, but you may have that mention of that role or may not, but ultimately it is coming based on some kind of work which has been done in a backlog refinement process. Now you have done it and still people are unhappy about it, or some people are maybe not aware of it and they are coming up. Now, in general, there is no clear need coming in, which is saying that these stakeholders are the one who are right. They might have their opinion, which we want to understand, but not necessarily is the right option. So proposing the replanning of the current iteration and disturbing it doesn't seem to be the right thing to do. So option A, which is talking about that we need to do something about our current iteration, may not necessarily be the right option. So I just keep it aside and move forward. Explaining the prioritization process and ask for feedback, that seems to be a good option for me. You need to explain how the overall thing works, and you may need to review the prioritization process also. There is a possibility that current stakeholder group who is participating in the backlog refinement meeting is not representing the changing nature or the real set of stakeholders who are really needed in the backlog refinement process. So you might need to understand the stakeholder engagement plan, may need to see who are the stakeholders who needs to be engaged more, which might result into your product owner or your backlog refinement process becoming more consultative with those stakeholders. So that seems to be the thing which might require change in a stakeholder engagement as well as in a backlog refinement process. Now, option C, assure stakeholder include their priorities in the next iteration. You can't keep that an assurance. You can say that we have this process, we will discuss about this thing in that process, but we can't predict that, okay, don't worry about the current iteration, we will take care of your requirement in the next iteration. Then if in the real world, sometime it happens, but in that case, what we can think or conclude from that is that our backlog refinement is not happening properly. We don't have a right people, right process for backlog refinement. And that's why we are doing this patchwork. Not a good idea, option C. Ask stakeholder to raise a change request. In the agile way of working, the current iteration gives you a hint of agile way of working, focusing on requirements are expected to emerge, reprioritize, raising a change request is not needed. Sometimes some of you may start thinking, oh, if you want something to change in a current iteration, probably I need a change request. For a requirement related things, we have a backlog refinement process and we don't need a change request for that work. We may need a change request for some other purposes, which we can identify as per our change management plan, but not for our backlog prioritization thing. So looking at whatever is available in this particular question, to me, the option B seems to be the good one. Explain, review, rework your prioritization process, your backlog refinement process seems to be the thing which we need to do in such situation. Yeah, that's what I pick from these 4 options.